anytime this story starts to fade out, it comes right back. It's Epstein file. Not quietly, not in the background. It comes back louder and louder every time we talk about it. And this time it's not just the Epstein's name, right? It's names that are connected to him. It's documents, it's interviews, it's testimonies, and it's contradictions. Because what's happening now is not just about people talking. It's people comparing what has been said publicly to what is now being reported and realizing those two things don't line up clearly. There are accusations being discussed again involving Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. Those accusations are not new, right? But they are being brought back into focus because of new reporting, new interviews, and renewed attention on the files. There was a civil allegation a couple years ago involving a woman claimed misconduct involved both Epstein and Trump. That case was withdrawn. It never went to trial. It was never proven in court, but it was never fully erased from the public conversation either. Now, there are additional reports referencing a woman who spoke to the FBI multiple times. Her account, according to reporting, remained consistent across interviews. That does not mean it's proven, but it also doesn't mean it was dismissed as nothing. So no, there are two layers sitting on top of each other. Past allegations that never reached trial and newer reporting that suggests there are interviews, statements, and materials that have not been fully released yet. And at the same time, there are statements from officials saying there's no evidence tying Trump to criminal wrongdoing in these files. But then there are also moments where officials refuse to answer direct questions. Questions about how many times his name appears in the files. Questions about what has been redacted. Questions about what has been withheld. And when answers shift from clear responses, right, to I can't discuss that, that's not something I can answer, people start to notice that. I started to notice. Because this is not happening in a vacuum, right? There are documents connected. Trump publicly spoke about Epstein in the past, calling him a terrific guy and referencing his interest in young women. There are reports of them socializing. There are questions about whether Epstein was ever actually banned from Mar-a-Lago. And when we really think about it, there was a report or redacted file that just got brought up on the House floor that contradicted Epstein being kicked out of Mar-a-Lago by a sitting House member. So we can't believe what you say about him kicking Epstein out of there anyway, kicking Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago anyway. We can't believe that. There's conflicting accounts about how and when this relationship ended and began and blah, blah, blah. And now those older public statements are being placed next to new denials. And that creates a lot of tension. Because if the relationship was distant, like you said, why are there so many references to you? If there was separation, why are there overlapping time frames? If everything was clean, why does it keep coming back into question? Those are the questions people are asking. No conclusions, just questions. And more information that comes out, the more those questions multiply. This is no longer about Epstein, just about Epstein, as an individual. This is about the network that was around this man, the people in his orbit, the people were in his home, on his planes, in his events, in his circles. And that network included very powerful people, right? Wealthy people, political figures, business figures, public figures. Some of these people have already faced these consequences. Some have stepped down from position. We got Prince Andrew. Some have testified. Some have denied everything. Les Wexner. And some people are still being questioned. The files that have been released have already led to resignations, investigations, and scrutiny across multiple industries, right? Finance, politics, media, law. And yet, even with all that, there's still files missing. There's still documents that have not been fully released to the public. There are still redactions in materials that have been shown to Congress, though. There are still references to interviews and evidence that have not been made fully available to everybody. So the situation right now is this. There is information out there, but it's incomplete. And incomplete information creates instability because people don't know what they're looking for. They don't know what's been left out. They don't know what hasn't or has been shown. And that's where suspicion grows. Now add timing to all this. All of this resurfacing again. while there's a major escalation happening overseas. Military positioning, strategic tension, talk of broader conflict. I personally believe Bibi Netanyahu got us into this war because he has evidence against Trump that has something to do with the Epstein file. This is what I believe. You willingly, our president willingly put us in this war, a war of will. This is what I believe, personally. And the question being asked is simple: is the timing coincidental, or does it affect where our attention goes? Because attention is limited. And when something major happens globally, it pulls our focus away to that. But this story is not losing focus. This Epstein story, these Epstein files is not losing focus. It keeps pushing back into the conversation because it hasn't been resolved. There's no final conclusion, no full release of information, no clear uncontested narrative that says the president is guilty or not guilty, or nobody's guilty or not guilty. This is just pieces of testimony, pieces of documentation, pieces of reporting, and statements that don't fully close that gap. And that's why the denials are not enough for many people. President Trump's denials are not good enough. We won't feel that anything is good enough until he gets in front of the committee, Senate committee, House committee, and testifies. Subpoena him just like you subpoenaed the Clintons, just like you subpoena Bill Clinton, Pam Bondi, everybody. The only thing this does is pauses the conversation, but it doesn't end the conversation. It's never going to end until we get the full truth. And every time new material surfaces, that pause ends and we right back where we were. The central issue is not just whether allegations are true or false, right? Central issue is that the full record is not public. Until every document is released, until every redaction is explained, until every interview is accounted for, there will always be a gap. There will always be curiosity. And that gap is where all of this lives. Because the public is not asking for speculation. We're asking for clarity. Until all of these people atone for what they did, have accountability for what they did. That includes Donald Trump if he's guilty. We keep asking what is in the files, what has been withheld, what has been redacted, and why. And until those answers are fully given, this story continues, it's going to continue. It doesn't disappear, it doesn't resolve itself, it doesn't close until somebody tells the truth. It stays active because too many questions remain about Epstein, about the network, about the people connected to him, about what is still not being shown to us. And that is why this keeps coming back. Not because people want it to come back, but because it has not been finished. Donald Trump can continue to say he didn't know Epstein all that well. He ain't in the fire. He's been exonerated. No, you have not. You've been pulled into it. These ladies' events, these young ladies' interviews have pulled you back into the middle of it. You're right in the middle of everything. But you know what you know, and you know we want to find out what it is. This ain't finished until it's finished. And until everything is fully exposed, verified, and understood, this will not go away. This will be a stain on this presidency. This presidency has already got stains on it, but it's really going to be a stain because of this. It is what it is. It is what it is. And I'll see you all in the next one.